Welcome. It's the Single Guys podcast. My name is Jason, and I'm with
Desmond.
We're back.
We are back, guys.
It's been a long time since we had a recording. I know I just posted some episodes, a week back,
Yeah.
and that was about how we handled breakups. Do check it out on our Instagram. I've put the full episode on our Instagram. It's the single guys on Instagram, and if you want to email us or you want to send interesting topics, you can always send us an email, thesingleguys.podcast@gmail. But best way is still send us a DM on
Just DM us.
the.singleguys on Instagram. So today's topic is a bit interesting.
Yeah, what do you tell us about that, Jason?
So last week I was watching the Thirsty Sisters on YouTube. And we are both big fans of NOC.
Yep.
And we watch a lot of their stuff. And obviously, as a fan of Nina, I also watch a lot of her stuff. And the Thirsty Sisters is one of them.
Yep.
And the Thirsty Sisters talks about relationships, some relationship issues. They talk about the MBTI. But this week, they had a very interesting topic, which was... it was preceded by her breakup, but that's besides the point.
Yep.
It's basically about them settling down. And the complaints which Sylvia received or collected from various places which they get comments. They went ahead and recorded this Thirsty Sisters podcast based on 5 things which Singapore men complain about Singapore women in general.
Yep, that is correct.
We're not gonna do a Singapore thing.
Yeah.
Because we're from Brunei.
Obviously.
But I'd like to record this podcast a bit as a response to what they've said.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of interesting things here.
Yeah. I mean, Singapore and Brunei is not that much difference in terms of our cultures. Of course, in terms of standard living and stuff like that, it's way off. So, and in terms of where they are in terms of development, as a country as a whole.
Oh yes, for sure.
Yeah. So, first things first. And this one was we went straight to the point. Right? The question was, are women, the actual question was, are Singapore women gold diggers? But in general, the question is, are women gold diggers?
Yep. How would you answer that right off the bat? I feel like there's no
right or wrong.
Right or wrong.
Yeah. Because like both Nina and Sylvia actually mentioned, yes, there are women who are gold diggers. In their example, they said that if the girl is not doing anything for herself and she's just waiting for Prince Charming to come and rescue her and buy her bags and buy her car and buy her apartment, then yes, those are gold diggers.
Oh yes, for sure.
Then there are also women who are happy to work for themselves, not work for themselves, but work to earn themselves.
To provide a living for themselves, yeah.
Correct. And so in those examples, right, like in the case of both Nina and Sylvia, I don't think they are gold diggers per se. I don't really know them.
No.
But in my experience, you've got to have something to give the woman.
I think, from how I see it, I think as a general standard, right, there is that kind of expectation. You know what I mean? You bring a girl out on a date, you're expected to pay, right? Or, if let's say you're the head of the family, you're expected to provide, traditional mindset and things like this. So I think there's some form of expectation in the sense that women would expect or place on men to provide, whether it's certain things or not, but whether or not that is taken to the extreme, like I said, there's going to be a whole spectrum of people, one extreme to the other.
Yeah, as an example, right, I personally have had 2 very different experiences when it comes to gold digging women. So I've been on a date, right, where the girl refuses to make me, she doesn't allow me to pay for her. Yeah, she doesn't want me to pay for her.
Yep.
And she's like, I can take care of my own stuff. Like, don't. It was like, don't patronize me. It's like, just because you bring me out doesn't mean that I want you to pay for me.
Yep.
And that was it was very attractive actually.
It is.
I found it so attractive. I was like, wow, this girl is, not only is she strong, she's capable, and then she knows that she can take care of her. She doesn't need a man to take care of her, but if she can get a boyfriend, then she wouldn't mind at all. But she wants to be seen equally, which is one of those things which they actually brought up as well, like equal partners. I've also been in a situation where the girl expected me to pick her up. Oh yeah, in that first example, the girl drove herself. She's like, no, I'll meet you there. I'm like, okay. But there was the other one where the girl expected me to pick her up from her house and take her to dinner, and then pay for the dinner and pay for the movie, and then...
Oh yeah, I've definitely have a very similar experience in that sense.
Correct.
You know, they would expect you to pick her, like, same story pretty much, is pick her up, buy her dinner, send her home, you know, not even a single cent out of her. And it's expected.
Do you know, I've actually had one, right, where the girl didn't even bring her wallet.
Wow. Wow.
I saw her. So when I picked her up, right, this is a different girl from the example actually, but when I picked her up from her house, I saw she came out. She was dressed very nicely. All she had was her phone. And that one was not even a date. That one was just like, oh, by the way, you know, I feel like want to go have dinner. And she's like, okay. I'm like, wow, she came out without her wallet, just her phone. Okay. What?
Suddenly drop the FYI you're paying.
Wow.
or never dropped it at all.
Yeah, I didn't bring it up, but I was like, okay, because I invited her, so of course I was gonna pay for her, but it wasn't a date.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, I don't know. Asking people out for dinner is not number one. It's not necessarily a date.
Correct.
Right? And number two is I'm not expecting to pay your share.
Yeah.
If I'm asking you out.
Yeah. So I brought up the topic of equal partners because the Thirsty Sisters, TTS, they also brought up this topic. One of the, not complaints but it's basically a topic headline was, is it too much to ask for equal partners? Now, let's put this into context. I think you brought it up best when you mentioned Sylvia is a CEO, correct? What was it again?
Yeah, so I feel that, you know, there's always going to be, when we talk about equal partners, is it more of a general for every woman out there, or is it more for, you know, specific individuals, right? Because if you talk about individuals, let's say in the case for Sylvia, right, she is a CEO of a company, right? When you're looking for an equal partner, the standard for equal is pretty damn high.
Yeah, for her, I guess it would be higher.
Yeah. So, you know, for her, which kind of makes a lot of sense, right? Because you need to kind of match that kind of lifestyle, that kind of, you know, I don't know, like chiong, you know what I mean?
Have you ever had this though, where you're dating someone of equal standing or higher?
Of higher, I would say no.
Right.
But definitely the opposite of that, so
lower.
Of lower is definitely very difficult for me.
Is it? Why is that?
Because I feel that they're always holding you back in a lot of ways.
Okay.
So
you mean in Korea?
In Korea. So I used to date someone who, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that this is a bad thing, right?
Okay.
So there's always such thing as the 5 love language, right? Everybody, you know, gives.
That's another topic.
Yes. So everybody gives and perceives love in a very different way as compared to, you know, other people. So, but especially for her, it wasn't something that she was looking for. Like, I'm always a very progressive person, so I'm always would try to strive for more and, you know, work a little bit harder than everybody else. That wasn't a priority for her. So after a while, that difference kind of what separates us apart. So she was looking more for the affection, and I was looking more, you know, towards building my career, solidifying where I am in the company, yada yada, this and that. And yeah, that slowly drove or caused a lot of arguments, I would say.
Because she was prioritizing on the
more on me spending time with her and the affection part
and
of the
you were on your computer trying to program a bunch of stuff for people.
Yeah.
By the way, Des is a programmer. If you need some programming,
Just hit me up.
yeah,
Any solutions, yeah.
computer solutions and software and programming, yeah, hit him up. Okay. So I've had I think I've been my dating life has been quite unique in the sense that I've dated people of a higher standing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I once dated somebody who was a higher management person, and in that company I was a middle management person.
Yep.
That it wasn't how it started though. When we both started, we were both in middle management, but she got promoted.
I see.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think that might have been why it worked out in the first place, where she was in middle management with me, and then she eventually moved upwards.
Yep.
But through the majority of our relationship, she was in the higher management position.
Yep. Oh, can I pause you right there? And actually, let's be honest here. Would you have any problem? Because let's be honest here. I mean, for maybe a lot of the guys that may be listening to this, right? I would think, or I would assume that a lot of guys would actually have issues with this. Do you have an issue with, let's say, dating someone who's actually of a higher standing? She's maybe more successful or earn more money than you. Would you feel that you're inferior to her?
I don't think I'll feel inferior, but I think I have a lot more work to make up for.
Right.
So in this particular example of mine, my experience, she was earning more than me.
Mm-hmm.
She was seen as a very capable employee, and I didn't have that same sort of looks from like the very top management.
Yep, I get it.
And when it came to, and it doesn't help that she herself was from I won't say rich family, but
pretty well off.
Not say quite well off lah, because the family had properties that was rented out, so all that money. Oh, and she was an only child. Yeah.
Yes.
Whereas I've got siblings, and when I first started working, I started with debt immediately. The moment I had my first salary, it contributed to paying off one of the cars that my parents bought long before that. Whereas in her case, when she started working, her dad bought her a brand new car and she didn't have to pay for anything.
Yep.
So, and she didn't have to pay anything for her house. I was renting at that time as well.
It makes a huge difference.
Yeah. So not only was she earning more than me in higher management, but she kept more of her disposable income.
Yeah.
And I was just struggling to get by. So I still don't think it would be an issue. Personally, for me, I've always been the kind of person that looks at an individual's characteristics first, rather than where they are in their career.
I agree. So yeah, when we come to ask this kind of, is it too much to ask for equal? I don't think it is in a lot of ways, but I think the more important thing to look at is at the person's character and their attitude towards, attitude towards progression and attitude towards,
Right, progression is something that bothers you a lot because you mentioned that twice already.
Yes, very much so.
So you need a girl who's also as ambitious as you are.
Yeah, I think this is just mainly speaking out of my experience, seeing from my family and things like that. So I feel that not for myself, but more for the women, because I feel like a lot of women are always neglected, right? Let's say if they're a full-time housewife, and let's say, if the husband decides to cheat on her, she's got nothing, right? No saving, no way of basically earning. And to me, that's just so sad because I see each and every single individual as perfectly capable human beings. You're capable of so much. So why not use that? Why not use, to build something for yourself?
But to a lot of guys, right, I think maybe we are in a unique position because to a lot of guys, they wouldn't dare to ask somebody out who is of higher standing than they are. I have seen, like, even among our friends, we have friends that we won't name. We need to come up with like fruit names like Thirsty Sisters do as well. But we have friends. We have a friend, or we have a few friends actually, that they don't dare to go after. Let's say so. we know somebody that is in not even a management, it's more like a supervisory role. Okay, I don't see him as somebody who would go after in a similar position in where he works.
Yeah,
You know,
that's for sure.
like I mean he's married now and stuff, but I wouldn't see him as going after somebody who's of higher standing.
Yeah.
And then we've got another friend, which I also don't know what fruit name we shall call him, who has been single for 8 years or so, or something like that.
Quite some time.
Quite some time. Sometimes he looks like he's single now, but he's been on a few dates with 2 different girls. Okay, let's not too much info. But yes, I know some of his dating stories. He loves to go after the girl that is higher standing than he is.
Yeah.
You know, he used to date a manager of a franchise.
Yeah, I think all of this really boils down to the guy's confidence,
Yeah.
right? If you've got the confidence to go for it,
Just go for it,
I
right?
would say sure, why not, right? Give it your best shot.
So I guess the answer to the question is it too much to ask for equal partners? I don't think so. I mean, I think it's fair.
Yeah, I think it's fair.
Yeah, it's fair.
I think it's fair.
Yeah.
Because either way, if you don't, you'll find it hard as you progress on to the later stages
Correct.
of the relationship.
Correct.
Yeah.
I guess even if you start off equal, as long as you both grow
Yeah.
at the same rate or a similar rate, doesn't have to be the same rate, but similar rate, then it's acceptable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Number 3. Should women, okay, like women like the thirsty sisters, should women compromise what they built for someone else? So this comes from their viewpoint,
Yeah.
where they have built a career for themselves.
That's correct.
They have built their own savings. In the case of Silva, I think she has her own place or something. Is it right or is it acceptable for them to compromise their lifestyle just so that they can meet halfway in between with the guy? So this goes back to asking for equal partners. Like, are they going, if they're going to date at their level or below their level, should they compromise? And one of the examples, I think it was Nina who gave an example. No, it was Sylvia, talking about her sister. Like, if her sister was dating somebody of a lower level, and she knows that the sister likes to go to this fancy restaurant for her Italian food once a week, and then because she's dating someone lower, that she will feel very sad for the sister. I have a very strong opinion about this.
Right.
Okay, because if her sister falls in love with a guy that happens to be of a lower standing, and she loves him, and she has to skip for her weekly Italian, right? So, and eat at the hawker center with this guy, but she loves him. Isn't that what it's all about? Isn't that what love is all about? Like, for me, that's actually okay. I think it's okay for Silva's sister to lower her expectations because she loves the guy. When you know how they always say
That's
love
true, but-
love is never easy, right?
Right,
And when
right.
you're in love, you have to sacrifice some things or compromise. I won't say
Compromise,
sacrifice.
yeah,
Compromise.
yeah, compromise.
Maybe you won't be able to go to Italian once a week. You could still go once a month.
That could be true. Yeah.
And if the two of them, if the couple is happy, I don't see what's wrong with that.
Correct, which is what I was gonna suggest, right? I don't think it's fair for her to completely sacrifice it, right? To say that if it's something that she loves, let's say whatever fancy things, we're all entitled to it, right?
Yeah.
Whatever it is, if she can afford it, sure, right? Not at the expense of, let's say, if she was dating somebody, not at the expense of them suffering even more. Do you know what I mean? Let's say you're dating somebody, right? Let's say in the case for this woman, if she's dating the guy and the guy can't afford to provide this for her, then don't expect him to. If you can provide it for yourself, sure, go ahead, right? But at the same time, this comes with another set of problems, right? If she keeps doing this, now will the guy be okay with it?
Right, because some guys cannot handle it.
Yes.
They have ego, and men do have ego.
Definitely, for sure.
I mean, I have ego, so you know.
So as long as the guy is fine with it, I think I don't think it's something that is even worth even arguing about.
Right. So back to my example of dating that girl who was a lot better off than me.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't keep up with the kind of holiday she wanted to go. I couldn't keep up with the frequency of eating out.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's very expensive.
It
Even though throughout our dating life, right, she always paid for her own.
Mm-hmm.
She never wanted me to pay for her because she knows she earns more. But even then, the frequency of eating out was like crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
Especially if you're talking about Australia.
yeah, so it was like
Yeah.
I couldn't handle it, man.
No.
And I got into debt for that. I owed money to people that I shouldn't have owed, you know. So that is
Well, I guess this can be seen as one of the good things about guys. It's a dumb good thing, right? Guys
I was
always,
in love.
Yeah, guys always go through, and sacrifice and do the dumbest shit just for the girls that they love.
Oh, if they
Right.
if they love the girl, they will do a lot.
Yeah, they
of
would
stuff.
do anything.
Like we know women will do things for love,
Yeah.
but what people don't know is men will also do things for love.
Yeah.
And I was one of those idiots.
Yep.
Having said that, I think I would still do it again.
I think I am also likely to do it.
So we are
Not just you.
we are just stupid men who knows that if we are in love, we're gonna sacrifice the whole world.
Yeah. But even
That
still,
makes us very great candidates. Why are we still single? Damn it!
But going back to this, right? I'm just going through my list of friends, right? And there's a lot of girls that I know that did sacrifice a lot just to be with their partner, right, or their boyfriends or whatever it is. And some would consider giving up their career in a particular country and consider even moving over. And I've seen a lot of it. It's not
That's
just
hard,
one
man.
or two, but it's more than that. And which kind of makes me lead me to believe that girls are actually more willing to, to give up all these things.
Definitely.
Right?
Because women are built differently, right?
Yeah.
Women, I think naturally, instinctively, they are built to have a family, have kind of thing. We'll talk more about that as well later on. But a majority of women are built to, or programmed since young, to look for a family. They're not programmed to get a career. They're not programmed to go up the ranks and then think about family later. Of course, in the modern world, things have changed.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's the traditional aspect of things as well as the modern aspect.
Yep.
And I think it's great that women are actually working towards equality in terms of like their pay,
For sure.
the opportunities,
For sure.
and stuff like that. But generally, I'm not saying, I'm against women giving up their career
Yeah.
to start a family. I'm
Yeah.
very, very against that.
Unless if it's something that they want, though. Because some of them do really only dream of having a family. This is where I'm also torn as well, because I don't quite like the idea.
Yeah.
But we also can't completely disregard the idea that some people do just want to focus on their family.
So if I have a girlfriend, right, and she's got a career and I'm doing well for myself, and by the time we get married, she says she wants to stay home and be a mom, I'm very happy with that, but I'm also very worried.
Yep.
Because I don't want her to rely on me every day to come home and talk to her and entertain her and just meet new people and stuff like that through me. I want her to have her own life.
Yeah.
So I like the girl to be independent.
For sure.
And if she has a job, even if it's not a high paying job, as long as it's a job that she can still relax, still come back home to, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, if she wants to go up the career ladder, that's fine as well.
That's correct. That's correct.
It gives them that sense of identity.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think we're both on the same page here, where we're like, we don't really want them to give up, but we can see why some women do.
I think the most practical way of looking at it is, maybe give up your career for a couple of years, when your baby's still really young, but really, realistically, at the end of the day, when the kid starts going to school, you've got time,
Yeah.
right?
I don't mind that. I mean, okay, here's the point. I would agree with them doing it to give up their careers if they can find a hobby. So let's say they give up their careers. Okay, at least in my case, if the girl gives up her career to have a baby, and then after the kids have grown up, she finds a hobby, right? Whatever she wants to do, she likes to cook. Maybe do some cooking from home and then sell it. You know, those are. It's not really a career, but it's something that she likes to do.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
Start a YouTube channel.
Or if she likes to broadcast,
I mean, there's plenty of things that people can do nowadays.
Correct. So I'm okay if she finds a hobby but decides to quit her job.
Yes.
So I think my main concern is I don't want her to be bored.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's not so much about the career, but it's I don't want her to be bored.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And don't get us wrong, guys. You know, it's not we're against all this kind of thing, but that boredom thing, man. If you gotta stay at home a lot of the time, you're gonna go insane.
Yeah, that's why I don't want her to rely on me to come home from work and then lie on her or talk to her, because I just don't want her to be bored to that point. Okay, moving on. Do women put themselves on a pedestal? What do you think, huh? Do women put themselves... Okay, you have a dating situation of someone in Singapore that I don't know. For me, I feel like she puts herself on a pedestal, and you kind of like putting her there anyway. Yeah, let's admit it. But do you find women generally put themselves on a pedestal?
I don't know. I feel this is very
sensitive,
subjective in a lot of way.
Okay.
Yeah. I know for sure that sometimes it's not that they want to be on one,
right?
But rather because of circumstances and things like this, it will happen.
I think men generally, if they don't know what they're doing, they will put women on a pedestal.
Yeah.
So if they're trying to go after a girl, okay, they will. There's this chance that they will do things for them, right? They will especially giving compliments. Tell them they're beautiful. Tell them compliments are the ones that really, really they bother me lah. Put it that way. I'm not the kind of person that always give compliments.
Yeah.
I think most people know me as someone who's very straightforward.
Yep.
Very. I have a bullet mouth. I will say things, and I come off as quite rude.
Yep.
But it's not that I'm rude. It's just that I don't like to give compliments too often.
I kind of get what you. Yeah.
And some women, they enjoy the compliments.
Oh,
so
no doubt.
They enjoy the compliments that men give them, like the attention. So I guess it's not just compliments; it's also attention.
I think it's more of the attention. Yeah.
Yeah. So they like it when they have. I mean, growing up, we've always known certain girls. Like, I know girls from the girls' school next door to where I studied. They enjoyed it when they received gifts from random guys and letters from guys that say, "Oh, you're so beautiful. I like you."
Yeah.
That side. Those were the days when there was no Instagram, so you couldn't slide into someone's DM.
Yes.
You had to pass somebody a love letter from school.
Yep.
That kind of shows my age as well.
You gotta, hide them letters underneath their desk or leave it, super early in the morning. You gotta go through the embarrassment of carrying the gifts. You can't send it to their door no more.
Correct. You can't do a Grab style and send them to their door kind of stuff. I actually remembered all of this quite vividly. Like I was the middle person for a friend. We're going off topic here, but I was the middle person for a friend who liked this girl in the school next door.
Yep.
Right? And my sister was in the school next door. So obviously he passed the letter to me, which I passed to my sister, then my sister passed to the girl.
Yep.
So yeah, this is sliding into people's DMs in the early 90s.
Yes, you make friends of the person you have a crush on.
Yeah. Do you remember what it was like to even talk to a girl and ask for a phone number? Because I remember it was so scary. Like, just asking for her number. It's not like I can search online, find her Instagram account.
You can't. There's just no way. So you gotta come up with some creative
You have
way
to have
of
the
like,
guts.
hey, by the way, we've got this activity going on.
Yeah. Give me your number. I will call
I need
you.
your number. Yeah. It's some lame excuse just to get the girl's number. Yeah.
It was fun though.
It is.
Kids nowadays will never know the feeling.
No, it's just IG handle ad.
Yeah, correct. Or search through somebody's friends list.
Yeah.
Dating in the 90s. Where were we? Pedestal.
Pedestal, yeah.
So women like the attention. We think anyway. I think it's fair.
It is.
For me, I've been in a situation where a girl who gets the attention is fair to the point that she accepts it, but she doesn't take advantage of it.
Yeah. Which is going to be rare because I feel that, I think I've talked about this with somebody else before, but, I feel that a lot of this really stems up with, the current culture, right? Because think about it this way. Let's say if a guy is interested in this girl, chances are he's not going to be the only one, right?
Of course.
If this girl is pretty, he's not going to be the only one. So, if you're just going to be a friend...
Fun fact. All of my ex-girlfriends, during the time I went after them, they all had different suitors as well.
Exactly, right?
Not one I was never the only option.
Correct. Which is why I feel, especially for for girls or for women, right? Why it's so common for them is because they're always gonna have a lot of people who are interested in them, and for guys to stand out, they gotta do something, whether it's buy gifts or be extravagant, give them a lot of attention or whatever it is. And guess what? The ones who stands out most probably will win her over, right?
Not necessarily,
but higher chance, I would say, right? So I think it becomes quite normal
to put the girl on a pedestal.
Yeah, in that sense, it's kind of like common thing to expect in this day and age because of the number of people
that's going after her.
Yeah.
Well, I think, like I said, for me, the pedestal, buying of gifts, from what I've seen, my experience told me that it's not as often as compliments, because compliments is free.
Yeah.
So I really, really find it annoying when the guy, at least if the guy is going after my friend, and my friend, she shows me the messages or whatever he's sending to her. I really find it annoying whenever he says, "Oh, you're so beautiful." If you wait, I see also.
Cringe.
I'm like, want to have a puke face emoji, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
But at the same time, it's because of this game that is being played, and then girls would begin to question why a guy would suddenly stop. Let's say they started dating, and then all these things stop.
Once they actually start dating,
well, it's kind of, to me, it makes sense.
Yeah, but actually, if you already started dating and you're a couple, that's when you give the compliments.
Yeah.
You save the compliments for later. Don't use it don't fire away all your bullets at the start of the round. You gotta save it for later. If you actually succeed, right? When you succeed in getting the girl, the dating process doesn't stop there. You actually need to continue.
It's always a continuous effort. Yeah.
Of course, the rules have changed a bit once you actually start dating, but that's where you fire all the compliments. It's like, my girlfriend is so beautiful. I used to do that as well. I never said her name. I never told my ex like I never said her name. And all I do was I looked at her eyes. I'm like, oh, my girlfriend's so beautiful. And then she will always go, who's your girlfriend? I'm like, well, I know and you know lah. Okay lah. That's all. Yeah. Okay. Last thing that the Thirsty Sisters not the last thing, but one of the final things they talked about in the podcast was, not every woman wants to be a mother or wife. Now, we touched on this a bit earlier because I brought up the whole thing about how women were programmed.
Yep.
I know that for Nina and Silva, at least in Nina's case, she doesn't want to be a mother. Not doesn't want to, but it's not something that she's mentioned as critical to her. Like if she's she's already said she's happy to die single.
Yeah.
You know, in her case. Whereas for Sylvia, I don't think she actually gave her opinion on this.
Mm-hmm.
But generally, I find most women want to be a mother or a wife, or at least a wife.
At least a wife.
The reason why I say they want to be a wife, okay? Now, this might be only a Brunei thing. Okay, maybe it's just a cultural thing, because Singapore is different.
Yep.
But in Brunei, I think most women, if they're non-Muslims, they will start panicking around 27.
Yeah.
27?
27, 28.
Yeah, because
Approaching 30.
you expect, like, okay, you date for 2 years, then you get married. So that brings them to 29.
Yep.
And then when they're 29, if they're married, then they have a kid at 30. That is the ideal. So when they will start working backwards, and if they are single by the time they're 29, they start calculating, okay, if I get married at 31, so because you give them the 2 years to get married, right?
Yep.
And then try to have a kid at 32, then they start panicking. And then it gets worse as they get older.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
If you're telling me that you are panicking at 30, that tells me you have a maternal instinct, that you want to be a wife, that you want to be a mother.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if you're going to tell me that you're happy to die single, but are concerned that you're single at 30, that is contradicting.
It is. It is. Very much so.
So I guess I'm saying Nina is contradicting herself.
Potentially, yes.
Because, I mean, she says she wants to be... Well, I guess she only said she wants to be attached. She didn't say she wants to be a mother.
That's true.
Maybe it's different.
That's true. Being attached and being a wife is different in this day and age.
Yeah,
They
correct.
do not necessarily
You can be
translate to the
attached
same
and you
thing.
don't have to be a wife.
Yeah,
which means you also don't need to be a mother. I guess, yeah. So maybe she's not contradicting herself.
Yeah. It's just that in this day and age, you know, there's a lot of categories / subcategories and free for alls, and you know, some not even categorized.
Yeah, but in Brunei, but if you're Muslim, usually you get married by the time you're like 23, 24,
Yeah.
maybe even younger.
Yeah.
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 But
Which is completely fine.
yeah,
You know.
but yeah, I think it has to depend a lot on the context, like the environment you're in.
Yep.
Because Brunei, you don't really see that many, at least in women's case, you don't see that many over 30s who are single and not married.
Yes.
At least among our friends.
Yep. Yep.
I mean,
a good chunk of them are already either married or have kids.
yeah, and divorced too.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I remember when people used to, like in my 20s, I used to say, wow, I got so many friends inviting me, I got so many weddings to attend, or da 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 da. And then it's like, after a few years, it's like, wow, I got so many baby showers to attend, or da 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 da. Next thing you know, and then when you hear somebody younger that says, wow, all my friends are getting married, I hear what? Then I'm like, all my friends are getting divorced, they got married around your age.
Oh dear, that cycle.
So it's like, yeah, they're getting divorced because I'm at the age in my mid-30s where they discovered that maybe they were not the right ones for each other, or they've had so much differences that divorce was the only solution.
Which I feel is generally what happens when you rush into things, right? Or when you're unsure about things.
But you see, rushing into things or rushing into a relationship doesn't necessarily mean rushing at 25. It could be rushing at 30.
Oh yeah, no. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not specifically talking about the age, but yeah, you know, in a sense that let's say you dated a girl for a month or two and decide you want to get married. I feel that that's a bit too rushed, right? Get to know the person, get to know their temperaments. You know, this is, I mean, for people who have dated, you know this very well, right? You're in your first year of relationship is a honeymoon period, right? You're gonna
first year, well, you got a bloody long honeymoon.
Like, you know, just generally the first couple of months, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you never want to make decisions based on those highs, right? Because they're gonna be the best versions of themselves.
Oh, yeah.
You know, always extravagant with their spending.
The first 3 months, I'm still not farting in front of her.
Yeah, exactly, right? So it's only after a year or two that you really like, oh, it's fine, you know. We've been
Honey, I
dating
gotta
so
let
long.
this one go.
You let out a fart, you know, you can't hold it on anymore. So it's yeah, so a lot of things you generally show it after a certain amount of time. So oh gosh, yeah.
So I mean, Yeah, that should be another fun question. When do you let your fart out?
But me personally, I think it's more than 2 years.
Really?
I do not like farting in front of people.
Wow.
Or I do not fart in front of people.
You know,
if I do, it's always accidental.
So one of my exes, right? She let go in front of me, I think within a couple of weeks of us being together.
Damn.
I was like, yo, if you're doing that, I can do that too. Then she was like, do it, I don't care. And then I realized it's one thing. It's because she's already comfortable with me.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah.
Right? That's what you want to aim for.
Yeah.
As disgusting as it is something that I feel is sweet. You know, when you're comfortable with someone.
Yeah, just don't shark.
yeah, just don't shark. But you know, the level of just being comfortable with someone that you can just really be yourself, I think that's very precious.
Oh yeah, of course. But so in conclusion, we think that generally women, at least in Brunei are still programmed to want to be a mother or a wife. Whereas
I think the social pressure is there for them.
Yeah, I think because socially also in Brunei it's there. Whereas in Singapore it's so common to find someone who's 50 and not married. Like I've got an aunt, she's never been married and she is obviously like in her 60s now.
Yep.
And yeah, she ain't ever getting married.
yeah. To me it's fine, right?
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, again, everybody's free to live their life. Right? You want to be single, you want to be independent, go for it. As long as you're happy, right? As long as you're the worst thing is, you know, when you proudly declare that, oh, I want to be independent, but you're always complaining that you're lonely.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry.
I guess don't I can't really say this. Contradict yourself.
Yeah, just don't contradict yourself.
Okay, that nicely wraps it up for the Single Guys podcast. Don't forget to check us out. This video is, well, not this video, but this podcast is going to be on IGTV. Hopefully we have more responses in terms of like things to respond to in the future.
Yes.
This is Jason.
And this is Desmond.
And we are out.
Bye.